And tomorrow is the funeral of George Pell. Now, as I told you last night, there was going to be a significant protest that will be taken against his funeral. I find the idea of protesting funerals in Australia to be despicable, regardless of who's being buried and what you are protesting and how everyone feels about all of that. It's a line I don't want us to cross, but guess what? We're going to cross it. Because the New South Wales Police today gave in to this protest movement because they have apparently promised that they won't be walking right out the front of the church, which means tomorrow we get a protest at a funeral in Australia. Again, whoever's being buried, whatever the cause is, this is a line that I think we are going to regret and is a shame that it is happening. I honestly think that. Joe Hildebrand, of course, you can read him here at skynews.com.au, see him all over the newspapers, and Holly Hughes, member of the Senate, representing the Liberal Party, but more importantly, New South Wales. Lady, lad, hello. So this Pell protest, it shouldn't be happening. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I think whatever you think of George Pell, and I've certainly been critical of the way he has run the church, but I'm also a lapsed Catholic, and for many Catholics, he is still their spiritual leader, and you're not upsetting him because he's dead. You're upsetting the mourners who have come out, and indeed people who may have known him as well, but people who have come out because he's a really important person in their lives and in their faith, and you're basically insulting them. The one carve-out I would say is people who have actually been survivors of sexual abuse. I think they get a free pass for just about everything, and obviously if they've been traumatised by his behaviour and handling the Melbourne response and that sort of thing.
And my belief is that if people wanted to gather at the other end of Hyde Park, won't bore you with the geography of Sydney, but that is a reasonable amount away from the church, then okay, people, that's free speech, free association. Yep. But the idea of what the original plan was and now what police claim is a compromise, but let's see how this goes tomorrow, about not going past the church, it's too close. Here's some of the people that plan to protest.
We're going to be assembling at Hyde Park Fountain in full view of St Mary's Cathedral. Going to be gathering to protest anti-LGBT politics, misogynist politics, which was, embodied in the life of George Pell. We'll be marching from there down the street past the cathedral to let those powerful people know that we reject their agenda.
Oh, but police did a compromise deal.
Can I just quickly say, I'm sorry, but also the whole point of having a protest is you want to change something, that you want to actually, the thing you're protesting against, you want to change. How are they going to change George Pell's approach to LGBTIQ?
No, but also, Holly, he's dead.
He's dead.
But also, Holly, and again, I don't mean to upset people when I say this, they won. We have same-sex marriage, LGBTI rights couldn't be more front and centre in the conversation, right? All the different issues, but this is about a wider politics, about allegedly building allies. And again, and I know the heat I cop for saying this, but I just find this, we're going to regret that we've made this change.
And I think, to Joe's point about the victims and survivors of child sexual abuse, and we do know how terrible that was, and particularly the Catholic Church and the role that it played for so many years, allowing these things to occur. So there's two protests going on, or two things happening. You've had the people that have been tying the ribbons up outside in recognition of the survivors of child sexual abuse. And, I agree with you on stepping over that line of when people do die and that sort of respect of the dead, and if you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. But this protest is not about child sexual abuse. It's not about survivors. It's about LGBTI rights.
Misogyny politics.
Which you're not going to change, A, because George Pell's dead, and B, you're actually upsetting and offending the people that are in the church to pay respect to the life of the person that was either their friend or their, in some way an influence or leader.
We all know decent people want to be kind to as many people as possible, right? And that includes people who, of all sexualities, genders, races, as a fundamental, and people's sort of preset position is, it's okay, I'm here to take care of you, right? They call it being an ally, right? But the idea that unless you're part of the protest, part of the riot, part of the resistance, silence is violence. It doesn't win anyone.
It doesn't win anyone, but also, again, and I've written about this, I want to see the Catholic Church be far more inclusive and not just even tolerant, but actually inclusive of, and to say, yes, it's fine. I've been to Catholic Mass where the priest talked about how great Mardi Gras was and what a fantastic celebration it was. That's fantastic, that's great, that's as it should be. What on earth are you doing talking to a dead man? That is, and to me that delegitimises the protest, because it's clearly not a protest. It's just punishment. It's just wanting to make someone suffer, even though they're already dead, but suffer vicariously by punishing the people who actually like them.
We literally have World Pride about to happen about 250 metres down the street.
And Sydney
that's
couldn't
gonna
be
be great.
cooler with it.
It's going to be great.
I mean,
be
that's
cooler
all of
with it.
Sydney is going to host
Couldn't be
World
cooler with
Pride.
it.
Yeah.
It obviously hasn't impacted the ability of the gay and lesbian community to hold their own events, to continue to grow, to have a voice, and strengthen their position. That has continued to happen. As you say, there's been many victories on same-sex marriage, etc.